Do 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 do.
Hello, everybody. As you all come in, I am your gracious host, Supreme Overlord Doofnat, and I'm joined by my other incredible hosts, MaryLynn and Phil Adams. And of course, we have a very incredible guest who so much can be said about this man, but I'm gonna let Phil kind of start us off with the bio.
So all right. Please. We have the privilege of having Tom on the show. Tom is a tour guide with Ghostly Images of Gettysburg and lives in the Gettysburg Orphanage building. Tom visited Gettysburg many times over a 20-year period before moving there 4 years ago. He has many experiences with the paranormal, and your orphanage building is haunted, right?
Oh, is it haunted? Well, let's put it this way. I live alone, but every night I have dinner with 6 or 7 people. So it's very active.
That's fun.
A very hot building right now, let me tell you.
Nice.
Yeah. It's when MaryLynn and I first met Tom and Christy and others from the Gettysburg Ghostly Haunted of the tour of the images with the tour and ghosts.
Ghostly
Images. That would be at the Battlefield Bash, I believe. That would be at the
Battlefield Bash, and they just kind of like rolled up on us, and they were like, "Hey, we're with so and so, and Tom lives at the orphanage." And I was like, "Oh man, well, I hope somebody picks him up soon." Like.
I'm waiting. When are you coming for me, Daddy? I'm so lonely and hungry. I'm so lonely and hungry. I even got my adoption outfit getting ready. I just pulled some things out. I got my little bonnet ready for when you come. I got my bonnet. I got more to the outfit. I'll be sending it to you in the near future, Mike. But Daddy, please.
Yes.
That looks fantastic. So that kind of it was a weird thing that it just kind of like rolled into like one weird video into another, and it's kind of become like this rolling joke at this point. So I've just leaned into it.
I love it. You're a funny man, especially last night as I'm sitting in my recliner. I said, "What is this now?" And yeah, I'm on the hay and flies diet now.
Yeah. So I had asked Christy, because she was like, "Yeah, I'm going on this little retreat with Tom." I'm like, "Can you get me some photos of him like holding dirt or rocks or something?" And I think she forgot. So I kind of had to.
You found the.
I did find enough. I found enough. I was like, I can use this. This is usable.
That was my Green Acres moment with the pitchfork. Green Acres.
So, MaryLynn, have you ever been to the orphanage?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure. We did a couple of things in Gettysburg. We did the Hoover House.
The Hoover House, yes.
Yep.
Hoover House.
Yo, Mike Angus. Also, Michelle just want to pop in and say hello. And happy Wednesday to everyone. That's from Ron. We really want to film there, I think. We've just got to work out our schedule to get down there.
Absolutely. It'll be awesome. Love to have you. The orphanage does not disappoint.
There looks like there's a painting behind you. Is that you when you were younger?
No. That would be Ben U.S. Grant, who would become president of the United States. And U.S. Grant actually visited the children's orphanage in 1867, a year before he became president. He had his picture taken in front of the orphanage with all the orphan children, and they asked him to say a few words. And he was a man of very few words. All he would say was, "Thank you." So my living room behind me is dedicated to U.S. Grant. And he was
So
here.
I can, Ulysses S. Grant is actually part of my lineage. He's one of my great grandfathers.
Oh, wow. Awesome. That is awesome. Cool. Very cool.
So was the orphanage still an actual orphanage when he visited?
The orphanage opened in 1866. So, yeah, it had been open 1 year when he visited. And there's a picture actually from the Library of Congress that he's pictured with the governor of Pennsylvania, 2 other prominent generals, and all the children lined up right in front of the building. So you can look that up.
So, from what I understand, with the orphanage, the history behind it, it's not great. It was not a great place to be an orphan.
Well, it was okay when it was okay the first 3 years when it opened. It actually ran very well, and the staff, one of the matrons was Philinda Humiston, and children loved her, but staff did turn over. And Philinda Humiston remarried and moved to Massachusetts. So at the time, the prominent board member of the orphanage was Dr. John Francis Horns, and he brings in a woman he thought was going to be exceptional, and her name is Rosa J. Carmichael, and she wasn't so exceptional. In 1870, that's when she arrives here, and that's when all the dark history of the orphanage begins, 1870 to 1877.
So she was there for 7 years?
7 years, yes.
And then when she left, did they close it down or?
Yep. She would finally leave in 1877. She was convicted on one charge of assault and battery of children. She was taken to court. Her punishment, which was the harshest that can be imposed on a woman during that time period, she received a fine of $20, and she was ordered to leave town immediately. And amazingly, she didn't leave town right away. She came back, said everything was a lie. They slandered my good name. She was here for several more months, but she finally does leave in 1877. And the mystery of Rosa Carmichael is nobody knows where she went after she left the orphanage. So back then, there were no birth certificates issued, so she could have very easily changed her name, just moved on to another city, hid her past. Some people believe she never left Gettysburg, that local citizens here were so furious at what she did to these poor children that they actually murdered her and buried her in a field someplace. The third theory is she may have went to Philadelphia and reconnected with this Dr. Horns, but to this day, we just don't know. We don't even have a photograph that we can verify what she looks like.
Wow. She could have changed her name to like Rosa Truckmichael. Nobody would have known.
Well, possible. People have searched for her in the census records and such. I've even done as much research as I can. And I don't know if we'll ever know exactly what happened to her.
Maybe she moved to Philadelphia and invented cream cheese.
That's a possibility. You know, you just never know. I might have to
We
look in that
just don't
direction.
know.
We don't know.
But she could have actually used a fake name when she was working there.
Her name maybe wasn't Rosa Carmichael. Like I said, there were no birth certificates issued, so just don't know. But perhaps where she may still be is right here in this building, because a lot of people believe that. And we get many psychics here, and they all pick up on a very dark energy, especially in the cellar. And a lot of people believe, and I would believe as well, that she still roams this building. So I may have actually never seen her when she moved here. You'd like to hear that story.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, before we get into that story.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was going to say, when are we
space.
doing this little... All I got is a light beer and a Pilsner glass.
I got that.
Today, in honor of my son, I got my golden apple, 23-year aged crown apple.
Oh my
This
God,
stuff
that's
is
so good.
Very nice.
so good.
Yeah, I got a Bud Light. Whoopee.
Phil, are you not having one?
All right.
I got
This is
coffee.
good. Coffee will work.
Coffee.
Cheers.
Nothing wrong with
Cheers.
coffee. Cheers.
To Linda Fuddy Duddy.
Linda Fuddy Duddy. Who's that?
It could be Rosa Carmichael. We don't know.
Mike, when you drink, do you actually get funnier or do you like become nasty or something?
I literally do not change.
Yes.
I'm gonna figure it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I figured that, something like that.
He actually, when he starts drinking,
He's
his
funny.
shirt comes off.
Yes.
Yeah. I have
And he likes
pictures.
to shake his butt.
Yes.
He will put
I
his
just
butt
follow
on
the
people.
exact same, just less inhibitions, I guess. But yeah, I really don't change much. I'm not an angry person. I'm not an angry drunk. And
No, it's-
I think I've just always been a happy-go-lucky guy, and that comes out even more when I drink, I suppose.
well, that's a good thing.
Christy Purdom is in. Is she doing a tour tonight?
Oh.
It's true. He will put his butt on your face.
I will.
Christy's a great lady. She's a big part of our Ghostly Images family, and we have a lot of fun together.
Hey, Josh.
Yep. Hashtag adopt Tom.
Well, I'm waiting.
So
4 years. I'm the last remaining
He's been
mortal
waiting.
waiting to be adopted. Waiting patiently.
he's been waiting so long that I swear that's his picture in the corner, but that's fine. He claims it's Grant, but I don't know.
So is the orphanage a nonprofit?
No, the orphanage, it's, we have Ghostly Images of Gettysburg. We have 2 properties, both historic, both very haunted. The orphanage being one, and the second is the building that is directly across the street, the Jenny Wade House. And Ghostly
What is
Images
that?
is under the Jenny Wade House. You don't know the Jenny Wade House, Mike?
Is that
Jenny
the lady
Wade
that
House.
invented the weight loss thing?
Not Jenny
That's Jenny
Craig.
No, that's
Craig.
Jenny Craig.
Oh,
No, I'll just
Okay.
confuse
God.
you even more. It's called the Jenny Wade House, but Jenny Wade actually never lived in the house. But Jenny
Really?
Wade would be killed in Jenny Wade would be killed in the house as the only civilian killed during the Battle of Gettysburg. The house at the
Wasn't it
time
a
was
stray shot
occupied.
that killed her?
Yes, bullet penetrated 2 doors. Jenny was kneading flour at the dough tray that is still in the house, and the bullet strikes her in her upper back, pierces her heart. She dies instantly. And, yes,
Wow.
only civilian in
Dang.
her sister's home. Her sister's name was Georgia, and Jenny came to her sister's house for safety because during the first day's fighting, Jenny lived in the center of the town itself, and the Confederates controlled the town. She thought she would be safer in her sister's house. But it's a great
Oops.
building. There's a couple of really great artifacts in the house. The original door where the bullets penetrate 2 doors, and it's very active as well. We debate all the time which building has more paranormal activity, the Jenny Wade House or the orphanage. I have
were
a
the
preference.
Jenny Wade and Georgia, the people that lived in the house, were they very religious? I only
don't
ask
know.
because it sounds like the house is a little holy.
Well, yeah, there's 150 holies in the outside of the house, actually. And speaking of Jesus, there's a picture of Jesus in one of the upstairs bedroom, and our tour manager, Christina, hung that picture on a very thick nail. And her first tour of last season, she had her whole tour group there, and Jesus levitated off the wall and flew across the tour group and crashed to the floor. And that really happened.
wow.
I remember that night. I was nearby, and a woman came screaming, "Jesus fell in the Jenny Wade house." I'm like, "What? Jesus fell? Was he okay?" Like.
Yeah,
Does he need help up?
that's crazy.
So when Jenny Wade was shot and killed, didn't they put her body down in the basement on one of the beds down there?
Yes, the family and Jenny's body were down there for 18 hours into July 4th, which July 4th was Jenny's sister George's birthday. And they would temporarily bury her in the garden of the home, which is the site of our gift shop today. She would be moved, about 3 months later to the German Reformed Church Cemetery, the family church, and she would lie there for 1 year. And then the Women's Relief Corps in Iowa, where Georgia moved to, they raised a lot of money to have Jenny move one final time, which is next door to where I live, at the Evergreen Cemetery. She has a beautiful monument statue, and Jenny has a perpetual flag that flies 24/7. One of only 2 women in the United States that has that honor. Mike, do you know who the other woman is?
Jenny Craig.
Is it Amelia
Betsy
Earhart?
Ross.
Betsy Ross.
Betsy
Okay.
Ross.
Betsy Ross. Oh, that's the lady who she invented disco.
No, she did the American flag thing. You're thinking of Diana Ross. Diana Ross.
That's what it is.
That's
okay. Wow, that's pretty dang awesome. So, Phil, while you were down there, you did some filming at the
National Cemetery.
Call it whatever you want, bro. Don't get technical with me, okay? Did you pick up anything while you were out there?
Oh yeah. Like we were discussing kind of before the show, the cemetery itself felt real cool, calm, just felt like a cemetery, felt cool and calm. But the moment you step onto the battlefield, man, that's a different feeling. EVPs, disembodied voices, shuffling in the grass when nobody's around.
That's actually pretty good. What was the fighting like, Tom?
Oh, it was intense. You had 150,000 men from 2 armies converging on this town, whose population at the time was 2,400 people, and it was just
$23.99.
What's that?
I said, $23.99 after Jenny Craig, I suppose.
No, yes. It was an intense battle. 11,000 dead, 40,000 missing or casualties. It was just horrific on the battlefield. The wounded soldiers.
How many casualties
everywhere.
did you say?
Total that was 40,000 casualties apiece.
Yeah, at 50,000 apiece all together, including dead, wounded, or missing. And the aftermath of the battle was even worse, because every building in this town, every church, every barn became a field hospital, including the orphanage building. And you know what they do in field hospitals, amputations. And the smell of death just permeated through the entire town. It was just residents wore handkerchiefs over their faces, dipped in peppermint oil or lavender oil, anything to kill that horrible smell. The water supply is contaminated. The bodies, there were temporary burial grounds all over town. The graves were only 12 to 18 inches deep. And on the July 3rd into July 4th, there's a torrential rainstorm that hits Gettysburg that's actually caused by the cannonade fire of Pickett's charge. And the soil on these bodies would be washing away, and protruding through the ground would be arms and legs and faces. The bodies would float 3 times the normal size. They would turn black. It was just a horrific scene here in Gettysburg.
That's pretty crazy. And for those who are just tuning in, Tom is one of the leading experts because he was there. That's actually a photo of him in the background. If you have any questions regarding what had happened at Gettysburg, please hit up Tom. He knows.
I'll be happy to share with you my first-hand account. I have bullet holes right on my porch here. I remember hit the side of the building, the orphanage right on the battlefield on Cemetery Hill. Yep.
So I remember joining a live stream, and you were kind of walking through the orphanage, and you showed like some like shackles and that were like chained to the wall, and there's still one left, but you said there were a lot more of them. What were those for? And that was in the basement, right?
That's in the basement, and Rosa's punishments would take place in the backyard. They would take place on the main floor of the orphanage, but her cruelest punishments would indeed take place in the cellar, including shackling children to the walls of the cellar. She would place children in water barrels, fill the barrels with water, and tie their wrists to the side of the barrel. And of course, down in the cellar is the pit, as it is known, a confined space about 4 feet by 8 feet that she would shackle children inside. The cellar has no natural light, no windows. They'd be in total darkness. Mice and other rodents running around. She'd give them minimal food. Kids had to be terrified, scared to death.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Did they ever try running, leaving, getting out of there on their own? Any stories like that?
There was.
It sounds like hell.
There was a young man that came. Most of the children that came here were as young as 4 or 5 and would leave traditionally around 15 or 16. At that age, were considered a young adult. They would look for work. But one young man who was here was 19 years old. His name was Richard Hutchinson. He had a younger sister who came to the orphanage. He had a handicap. He only had one arm, and the children called him Stick Boy because he was considered one of Rosa Carmichael's thugs. He carried a stick that he would use to beat the children. But one night, even he got fed up, and he actually snuck out of the orphanage, and he didn't go to Gettysburg authorities because he didn't trust they would do anything. He walked 20 miles in his bare feet to the town of Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. He told authorities there, you have to do something. This woman is crazy. She's torturing the children. They're not getting any food. And that would contribute to an investigation where they would ultimately charge Rosa 3 counts of assault and battery of children, found guilty on 1 of the 3 charges. She had locked a young boy on Christmas Eve, a boy named Georgie London. She locked him in an outhouse on Christmas Eve in 1876. He was found by the caretakers of the cemetery next door as they were walking home, and he would actually testify in court against Rosa Carmichael, and that was the charge she was convicted on.
So did any of the children end up passing while they were under her care?
Well, we know of at least 1 child that passed away, and we believe several other children may have died while she was in charge or went missing. There's the boy Robert Turner, and Robert Turner, she claimed died of a irritable bowel syndrome. And when the boy died, she actually buried him in the backyard of the orphanage. She had never called authorities, never notified a doctor. Well, word got out, and the authorities come to the orphanage, and they would find his remains. They performed an autopsy. They said this boy didn't die of irritable bowel syndrome. This boy died of starvation. So that we know.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting, Georgie London, the boy that was tied to the outhouse, he actually went on to have a very promising career and invented the porta potty. So that's good for him.
I haven't heard that, but I'll have to do some research. There were some letters posted from the London family in a Civil War magazine lately. I'm going to have to reread it and see if that's the case.
You see if it's in there. Yeah.
I would just take his word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take his word for it.
Yeah. So.
And for anybody who's watching who does not have StreamBeaconTV.com, the Beacon TV app on your phone or on your TV, please do so. Go to StreamBeaconTV.com, go to the website, and use code Paranorm10. If you use that code, you'll save a little bit, and you'll get to watch all of your favorite shows, like Paranormal and Speakeasy, which we're also on. So that would be great for you guys to watch, and then let us know if you enjoyed it. We love getting your feedback. Tom is he's watched our show.
I am a legacy member. I did sign up at the bash. I am a legacy member, so
That's awesome.
associates to sign up.
Yeah, and as a legacy member, you get a lot more perks. You get invites to some of the events that come in. You get free tickets and stuff like that. So you do get a lot of perks with that.
You do, but now there is the Battleship Soiree on October 26th in New Jersey, but you won't be able to attend because I think the Warrens have something going on here.
No, that's the Warren Paracon is actually on September 27th to the 29th, and we're really excited about that. October 26th is a Saturday night, and with the ghost tour business in Gettysburg, that is one of our busiest weekends. So it was just not a good night for myself or members of our ghostly team. We would have loved to have gone to the soiree. It's going to be such an exciting, great event. Wish we could be there, but unfortunately, not going to make it. What's that?
So they're supposed to have it again next year.
Oh, no. Hopefully they won't pick it so close to Halloween and our whole group could.
Right.
But the Paracon, we're looking forward to the group from New England Society of Paranormal Research, NESPR. We've met those fine folks. They've been to Gettysburg a few times, and of course they're bringing Annabelle. If you know who Annabelle is, the creepy doll. Personally, I do not like creepy dolls because I had a bad experience with creepy dolls.
Yeah, it's hard to get their clothes off, right?
But she's gonna be here. What's that?
Nothing. Continue.
I'll watch the replay. But yeah, so there's going to be a lot of celebrities from the horror and paranormal field, and expecting hopefully a great turnout here in Gettysburg.
So, what is your
better place to have a Paracon than this?
What's your slow season?
Oh, I would say right after Halloween, it does slow down a little bit in the months of November, December, January, but we still plan to do tours. Our tours and the orphanage especially have become so popular since Sam and Colby were here. They filmed with us in May, and their documentary on the orphanage, Jenny Wade House, and one other building in town came out about a month ago. And it's up to 9 million views today. And they brought a friend of theirs called FaZe Rug, who's a young man, a big YouTuber, and he did a little behind the scenes video that has 5 million views. So what we're seeing now, at least on our tours, we're seeing a lot of younger people really excited to see these buildings and follow in the footsteps of Sam and Colby and FaZe Rug and Amanda the medium that came. And it's really cool to see the kids. They're really excited when they come in. They want to know where they sat. They saw the episode. They know what happened. And,
wow.
So
I don't even know who
their
they
video.
are.
They have a young audience. Yeah, their audience is young, teenagers and younger. They've been around a long time.
That's awesome.
Really huge on YouTube. And brings young people to Gettysburg to learn about something of the history that happened here. It can only be a good thing. And I will say when they came, they have the star power because we had to keep it quiet and word got out that they were here and the young people started swarming the buildings. And
they were, when they came and they did the whole shebang, they were very professional. They were nice, respectful.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Amazing. They were the nicest young people. I mean,
see, that's
just
great.
Respectful and fun to be around.
And that's really important.
Makes you feel good because, it really is. Especially their audience is young, and I mentioned to them, you guys are looked at as role models, so keep being a role model to your fans.
Here's a question I have for you, Tom, and I try to ask everybody this. Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Does Bigfoot have 2 nipples or 6? What do you think?
Oh, well, I got my hands full with ghosts, so I don't really follow Bigfoot.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, because Is it more like an ape or?
I'll say.
What do you think?
I'll say
he's going to go 2. So
I'll say
more,
2, which is probably
more of a human, one kid versus like a litter.
I would think that would be my guess, based on photographs I've seen. Have you seen Bigfoot?
I have. You know what? There will be an episode that will be released very shortly of us going Squatch hunting.
Yep.
So even if I did not see Bigfoot, I guarantee you Bigfoot saw me.
Yes.
I was very hard to miss. Let's see here.
So what is the answer to the question then?
That's the thing. Like, we don't know. Nobody knows. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, because I think traditionally we consider, when you look at photos, but most of it's all doctored, so it all has 2 nipples, because it's all based off of man, because man is the one portraying Bigfoot. Well, what if that's not what Bigfoot looks like at all?
Right.
What if Bigfoot's got 6? Right? That would totally throw everybody off.
A whole different spin on the story.
Well, and that means,
sounds like the mystery of,
if Bigfoot's got 6 nipples, you could potentially milk it
6 times.
it could be. Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's as big a mystery as Rosa Carmichael. Nobody knows where she went. We're looking for her.
Oh yeah, give the Bigfoot call, Mike.
I assume
The
she
special
has,
one.
Yeah, the real one.
But right, Rosa Carmichael could have been taken by a Bigfoot.
It's true.
She might have. We don't know. Well, you let us know if you find out.
I will.
Okay, we've got people asking for the Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot call.
Great story.
Okay, yeah.
We're asking.
So
Hold on.
there's a lot behind Bigfoot call, okay? And it took Greg Ogles, okay, kind of having to coach me a lot on what a Bigfoot sounds like, because there are Bigfoot calls. And I still don't know if I got it right, but he said it's something like, oh, 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 oh. So I don't know. Work in progress.
So wasn't there a twist on it?
That's what I'd imagine.
Yeah, there was a
Twist.
twist he left off. That's okay though.
If there is a twist, you'll have to watch. You'll have to watch our show. I cover it more. I cover it more in depth on Para with the Normal.
Yeah.
With that,
Looking forward to
that's
that.
all. It's going to be great. So we actually have, I think there's 3 episodes. I think Josh Purvis is in the chat. We've only been filming since, I don't know, like January, February. So they should have a couple of episodes out soon. There should be 3 coming out back to back to back. So we're very excited for that. Mike Angus! Does sound like Tim the Toolman. So Mike Angus, he runs a prison. And who knows? Maybe Rosa Carmichael visited there in Georgia.
Yeah, Mike was here.
He was.
Mike was in the Jenny Wade house. Mike was here.
Mike Wazowski. But our goal is to try to get down to his prison and do some filming there. Which is great, because I've got this hamburger costume and I've been dying to use it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So, Tom, where are you from originally, man?
Yeah. Oh, my accent didn't give me away yet. I'm originally from New Jersey.
Oh.
Lived there my whole life, but starting in 2001, when my brother moved to Gettysburg, I visited him, and it took me long to fall in love with the town and also begin to experience the paranormal activity that intrigued me. And I visited Gettysburg for 20 years, many, many times, and I retired from my career and decided it's time for me to move here. I was the first person to see this apartment in the orphanage, and I took it on.
Wow. So what was your career?
Yes. Now I'm in the orphan home, but I actually ran a Boys and Girls Club my career for 25 years. So
wow.
I took care of kids that I could see, and now I take care of kids that I can't.
So how many kids?
Kind of ties into.
How many kids did you lock up in the cellar?
None. My office was actually in the cellar for a number of years, but I
so we're not going to talk about it.
Promise I never locked anybody.
Oh, good.
No.
Good answer.
You want to.
There's no such thing as a bad kid, Father Flanagan.
Hi, Kim. So, why did your brother move? I mean, who just like, you know what, I'm going to move to Gettysburg? It's a very strange thing. How did that happen?
My brother used to visit Gettysburg long before I did. He actually had a pretty cool Civil War collection. He actually had Abraham Lincoln's autograph at one time, and he had a whole big medical collection. One time he brought a door home with a bullet hole in it, and I thought he was nuts. I couldn't comprehend what significance this door with a bullet hole had sitting in our hallway. But of course, once I started visiting Gettysburg and appreciate the history and what happened here, you know, my brother moved here in 2001 after our mother passed away, and he thought it was a good time to come. And he lived out here for at least 12 years. He's in Florida right now. But I remember early on visiting. I mean, it was like one of my first trips. I was in the middle of the field called the wheat field, and I was filming with one of those video cameras that you put on your shoulder. And when I got home, put the tape in the TV, I'm hearing all these voices when there was nobody near me.
Wow.
I was in the center of the field by myself. And that's when I started becoming intrigued. And, you know, I always enjoyed carrying a digital recorder when I'd start to capture EVPs. It was my introduction to the paranormal. I couldn't believe it. And actually, one night, just around when I first started, maybe within the first year of coming to Gettysburg, it was me and my sister were in the battlefield. The battlefield used to be open at 10 o'clock, and it was 10:15 at night. And I said to my sister, we better get out of here so we don't get a ticket. And it was a very foggy night, and it was at Little Round Top. And I was driving my car on the summit of Little Round Top, and we both saw marching out of a fog bank at least a dozen soldiers dressed in full Union uniforms. They were carrying muskets. They were marching in formation. I looked at their faces. They were pale. There was no expression, no emotion whatsoever.
Wow.
We both believe that's an actual sighting. And I've only had two that I believe actually are seeing apparitions. And the most recent one I had is kind of right behind me where my living room is. Again, I had just moved into the apartment. I was here about 3 weeks, and I was taking an afternoon nap on my couch, which is at my age, I love that.
A siesta, if you will.
Nothing like a good afternoon. Oh my God. So on this particular day, I wake up from my nap, and at the foot of my couch, I see a woman in a black Victorian dress. Her hair is up in a bun, and she is staring at me. And I did what any brave man would do. I pulled the blanket over my head and I peeked out, and she was gone. I swear to God. And I believe that could have been Rosa Carmichael. And I had just moved here, and she was looking at her new tenant, because my living room behind me was actually the living space that Rosa had when she ran the orphanage.
Wow.
Those are my two experiences of actually seeing.
So do you take the tour? Do you take the people in the tour up to your apartment?
Well,
no?
I am never shy. If I meet some really nice people, I will show them.
Or if they've got like really big jugs?
Well, you know,
lemonade
too.
Yeah.
You know, they give me a good tip after the tour. All right, you could come see the apartment. My apartment.
That's right.
See all of it. I have the original wood floors, and it's also that central air washer dryer. It's a cool place. You can feel the history living here, and you know my apartment's active. Behind me, which a little off to this side, there's a reading lamp that I happen to have on.
Next to your portrait?
I've ever turned it on. Yeah, next to my portrait is a reading lamp, and I had to look how to turn it on because I never use it. But the spirits like to get my attention. They will actually turn that reading lamp on every so often. It's remote control, so I don't know.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
And some nights I'll turn.
Me too, buddy.
Yeah, so, and I've had things move around the apartment, pictures in my bedroom flying off my dresser, TVs, channels changing the station by itself.
So
I am very respectful.
Your brother, who moved to Gettysburg for the Civil War era stuff, and then decided to move to Florida, I suppose,
and left you
hanging. What does he think about?
That's why I'm orphaned.
Exactly. What did he think about the paranormal aspect that you've experienced?
I think he was always more into the history. He did have his own experience again at the wheat field. He was with a friend, and there's been a story of a woman in white who floats above the wheat field, and he claims one night he and his friend saw her. When he last visited me, he was using my couch as his living space overnight, and he felt like he got touched on his chest while he was sleeping.
Wow.
He's not as into the paranormal as I am, but I know that he's convinced that there was paranormal activity around. I can't tell you another story. Would you like to hear? I mentioned earlier I don't like creepy dolls.
Yeah, we definitely want to hear the story.
I'll tell you why.
Before you get into that, I want to clarify for the audience. You had mentioned that you had a giant camera, and then you took a tape, and then you put it in the thing. That is called a VHS. For anybody that doesn't know, and that was actually technology that was used by the Civil War. So that kind of gives you an idea of how Tom can kind of fits it all together. So please.
It's hard to find VHS players today, but I actually have one in the event I ever want to watch that.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Hard to find. They're antiques.
So tell us the doll story.
But anyway, all right. Well, this was 8 years ago, and I was living in New Jersey, and my sister, Lynn, who thought it would be a good idea to order me a couple dolls off eBay that belonged to a woman in Arizona who practiced witchcraft.
So before you go on, is Lynn also your brother?
Yeah. No, Lynn is my sister. Bob.
Okay, but they're two different. Okay, just making sure. I'm just
two different people.
I'm just staying with the story. Okay, continue.
I'm the one from Missouri.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. My bad.
So I get these two dolls because the woman's going in a nursing home. Her daughter's selling her stuff. And I get these two dolls, and I was expecting nothing because my ghost hunting was coming to Gettysburg. I had all the basic equipment, nothing fancy. I didn't even comprehend spirits attaching to dolls or anything. But I get these dolls, and the first few days, my favorite thing is trying to capture voices. I don't hear nothing for 2 days, and I'm not surprised. But on the third day, I get a response, and the spirit told me his name was Pierre, and the name fit because it was a French clown doll. What was that? You got a bird or something?
Maybe.
It didn't.
No. Oh, I love birds, actually.
So
I have a
this is Henrietta. Henrietta,
pigeon?
She cannot use one of her legs. So I have to manually make sure that she gets water and fed every day and exercise.
Very nice.
But continue.
I have an parrot. Anyway, so I get these dolls. The third day, I get a response. The loud voice of a male spirit that sounded older told me his name was Pierre. And the name fit because the doll was a French clown doll. And then I start doing what I tell everybody on my ghost tours, never antagonize the spirits. I start calling the dolls names. I'm throwing the dolls. I'm doing everything you should never do. And then they start to get even. They start chanting. I can hear this with my live ear. We're going to kill you. We're going to kill you. We're going to kill you. This went on night after night. And they were actually visiting my family members, my sister, who I mentioned, my other brother, my sister, while she was sleeping. They were going in her bedroom. She was getting very sick. My brother, who was in Florida, who was half and half on the paranormal, he called me one night like he was angry with me. He says, your friends are in my bedroom. They're sitting on my bed. They're touching my legs. And I also have another brother named John, and John has Down syndrome, and he was at his day program. And one day they called me and said, we don't know what happened, but John hurt his knee. So these spirits were threatening my family. And I'm beside myself. I am not. This was no. It was the scariest I've ever been in my life. I actually thought they would try to kill me because they said as much through these messages. They said they were going to slit my throat.
Jesus.
Obviously, they didn't. But I was never so scared in my life. I had to do something. I actually reached out to paranormal groups, some who I had heard of, and I was fortunate. To get a team. One of the scariest moments of my life, and I can't keep it straight. A team from Southern New Jersey called South Jersey Paranormal, a wonderful lady named Pat Kibbe, who's very involved in the paranormal field. They visited me on 3 occasions. First time, me and my sister, we talked and went over everything. And on the 3rd time, they actually did an exorcism.
Wow.
They were the minister, holy water, the praying. It went on for 2.5 hours. And I always knock on wood that whatever they did clear out all those nasty spirits. The energy of the house changed. The chanting stopped. They have a certain way they dispose of those dolls. But when I say that I was never so scared in my life, that would be an understatement. And, it was affecting me. It was affecting me in a lot of ways. It alienated me from other family members and cousins that lived nearby. They wanted nothing to do with this. Initially, I was intrigued by it. I said, wow, this is cool. But it turned out to be really what I learned, the intelligence that these spirits have and the nastiness. So that's why, obviously, living here, I do not antagonize everyone. So I never do.
Smart.
It's really smart thinking. Rosa, once in a while, I might test her a little bit. You know, obviously, she wasn't a good lady. So nothing too extreme. Is that your bird?
That is one of my 4 dogs who's decided just to go nuts for no apparent reason. So good on them.
So how do these pets take care of themselves when you're on the road?
My wife does most of the taking care of. Sometimes my mom, she'll show up and do her thing. I will say it.
So when you bring me home, when you bring me home, I'll have a whole built-in
You
family,
really will.
Mom and grandma. Right?
I also have 4 rabbits and a turtle. And I just discovered a family of rats, so that's fun. I got to take care of that.
Oh,
yeah.
No. Well, the only other pet, we got my pet, but we had Daryl, as you know. Daryl the bat was here for quite a time. I actually missed Daryl.
That's right, Daryl the bat. How is he?
You know, initially, Daryl the bat was here. I didn't like him at first. I was one of the first tours I gave. We knew Daryl was in that back room, and I told the tour group, there is a bat in there. We're going to skip that room. And I was outvoted 16-1. I was the only dissenter. The rest of them wanted to go in that room where the bat was. I'm like, what? I mean, what are they, nuts? But Daryl flew the coop.
No, yeah, George just came on and said they haven't seen Daryl in a while. So hopefully he was able to be returned to his family.
We hope so.
So one of the things that you mentioned that was really interesting is you said they came in, did an exorcism, and they used holy water. Does anybody else find it kind of a bummer that Jesus can't do a cannonballs into a pool, right? Because he would just hit the top because he walks on it, right?
I guess so, but
he might hurt his
water.
ankle.
That's
he
the
probably
standard
hurt himself.
It's the standard operation when you get the priest to bless the water and that kind of stuff. So I'm just happy.
So,
it
but
worked,
that was.
if it didn't.
So was that done at the apartment?
Yeah.
Do you still have the dolls?
No. They took them. There's a certain way they dispose of them. But I also learned something. Now, I did learn something good from all this, though, which sometimes I tell this part of the story. Sometimes I don't, because, first of all, there's a lot of people who believe in the paranormal. Some don't. Some believe in the afterlife. Some don't. I never try to convince anybody. But what I found out during this nasty experience that I had was I found out I had a guardian angel who communicated with me. And the guardian angel helped protect me when all those nasty things were around. And believe it or not, he is still with us. His name is Adam. And he does speak to me. Adam is I call him my protector, because his job is to protect me and keep me safe.
Nice.
It's the whole experience.
So you actually
and
have a guardian
being
angel.
serious. Being serious.
have a
The
guardian
whole
angel, but you
experience
also have
changed my life.
guides.
I'm sorry, MaryLynn. I'm sorry.
Said you have your guardian angel with you, but you also have 2 guides that are with you.
Okay. Well, I believe that. But Adam does. A lot of times when I do my recordings, we always try to capture EVPs on the tours. And a lot of times Adam is the spirit that comes through. He actually wished a young man a happy birthday a couple years ago. That was so loud and clear. The kid was so excited. It was his 16th birthday. So, yeah, I mean, the whole thing honestly changed my life. I mean, I've learned about the afterlife, heaven. I remember I asked him early on, can you describe heaven for me in one word? And the word he told me was love. So I can't think of a better word to describe. We'll go if for those of us who don't be. Yeah.
Hey, Rob.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
It is. It really is.
See, if I had a guardian angel, he'd probably just fart a lot, to be honest. Yeah.
I feel like your guardian angel needs like 2 extra buddies, and they're never able to take a break.
Yeah, they're very busy. They're very busy.
He's always around. Always around. Even when I travel, he's always with me. So, give him credit. He's got a good work ethic. Never lets me down.
So Michael John Angus came out and said that for a short time he investigated the Jenny Wade house, and he had some intense communications. Now, I will say this about Mike Angus. He went and put his face on a shirt and then sold it to women so he'd be on all these ladies' chests. Okay, so I don't know what you mean by intense communications there, buddy. You might need to be more specific.
He said all he needed to.
That's right. Chrissy says, I believe that, Phil, LOL. Which is true. Yeah, they're probably very busy. So now that you are there, you're established, you're doing the tours. What's next? What's next on your agenda?
Oh, my agenda. Like I said, I feel very blessed that for years I dreamt about moving to Gettysburg, and the fact that I did get here, living in the building that I do, in the location of town with so much history, the fact that I do these ghost tours and other things, and the chance to meet a lot of folks in the paranormal world who have been just so fun and interesting to me. We've met so many of them, from across the country. Even we had just recently, if you know Amy's Crypt, they're out of Australia. Amy and Jared, her husband, they are an exceptional team, and they were out here, and their video will be coming out soon. But I just love, working for Ghostly Images. It's a great company. Our tour manager, Christina Rowan, is a wonderful lady. She's a great tour guide. She's a great historian. And we have a great team of tour guides who work together. And it's been a great year. We were named the TripAdvisor Award of Excellence. Last year, we were named the #1 ghost tour in Adams County and Gettysburg. And we're hoping we may win that again this year. And we're very passionate. We're passionate about what we do, and our main goal is to ensure our guests have a great time. And I've met so many people and made a lot of new friends by doing this. And people come back and they ask to go on my tours again. And I always say that one of the best things about living in Gettysburg is meeting so many fun and interesting people from all over the world. And the worst part is I always wind up saying goodbye to everybody.
Right.
Then I'll sometimes add that I'm left with all the local drunks. There's a lot of nice people too living in Gettysburg.
I will say my favorite part of Gettysburg, there is a bar on the main Gettysburg Circle, and they have a spaghetti grilled cheese sandwich. And it is amazing. So not only can you go to Gettysburg, you can enjoy Spaghettisburg.
I haven't found that sandwich yet. I know a few of the places on the square, but I haven't seen that.
Which color was the bar, like green or blue? MaryLynn, do you remember? It was called
Blue and Gray.
It was the
That's my favorite place.
No, it wasn't the
favorite,
Blue and Gray. It
English.
was the it was something pub.
Yeah, I think it is Blue and Gray.
Well,
Pub. It's
pub
just
is
like
across
pub.
the
Yeah.
street. It's just called the pub.
Yeah, it's called the Pub and Restaurant, and they have the sandwich, but they also have this really huge mint chocolate chip cake.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was good.
I don't know about the spaghetti and grilled cheese sandwich. That might be enough
It is the
for
pub.
me to go in there.
It is so good. It is so good. You have to try it. And if you do, get a photo and send it to me.
I'll take a video. I'll take a video.
Yes.
If they actually have a spaghetti and cheese sandwich.
It was so good. I actually ate there a couple of times. So you could probably go in there and be like, oh, do you remember? Yeah, they'll be like, oh, God, that guy.
There's that cake.
There it is. Yeah, look at the size of it. It's massive.
And no, I did not eat it all.
Oh, look. George said that sandwich is great. I mean, they had a steak. Yeah. George Min J. Liu.
George would know.
George
would know. He's a food connoisseur. That's our George. Yeah.
I don't know what kind of nationality George is, but he seems like the type that could jump out of a closet and say, supplies.
George is a good guy. I don't quite know his nationality either. I think it's a combination of things, but we love George.
Yeah.
George
is awesome.
George knows the gender, knows it very well. He's had many.
George, you gotta get a picture of that sandwich for me. Yeah, he's on the Ghostly team. I've actually got some interaction with George. He helped me out, and they were talking about there's like a lift. Is there like an electric lift on a staircase?
Electric lift for me to get up to my apartment?
Do you know anything about
throwing hints that I'm gonna? Well, I don't need it yet, but he keeps throwing hints because I do have one flight of stairs I have to come up, and he's throwing hints I'm gonna need that chair lift, but I'm hoping to be out of here by then, you know. And I love Vegas. You live in Vegas. I love playing the slot machines too, so I can't wait.
Oh man, come on down.
You can have them all, buddy. You can have all the slot machines. I won't take one from you.
They're a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun. Like I think it's not like it's not the same. You know, old Vegas was better. Old Vegas was more like, you know, they took care of you. Now it's all.
The mob ran it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And that's what my family did. Yep.
Yeah. Sure.
That was the business of the Gallianos. That was the business we were in.
I'm gonna say you got my mother's maiden name was Lombardo, and you know she had 11 brothers and sisters. We had things going too, you know.
Yeah, that's funny because my grandfather was the youngest of 17 kids.
17. Wow. That's a lot of kids. My mother's family about 12. That's cool.
It was a lot, and they moved to. They started in Steubenville, Illinois, and then moved eventually to Milwaukee, where my father was born. Which is why we're all Green Bay Packers.
I actually love Milwaukee. I think it's a cool city. When I went there years ago, I wasn't expecting much. I said, what can be in Milwaukee? But I was pleasantly surprised. The combination of old and modern and one of the lakes there. I really like Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool city.
Yeah, I thought so.
And they've got a newer addition to the city now. They got a suburb. They call it Milrunny. So that's really nice. Yeah.
Is that along where all the bars are along the river over there? I know I checked that out. The River Walker.
Yeah.
You have to do a lot.
So if anybody wants to take a tour with Tom, you go to ghostryimages.net.
Ghostslyimages.net. You see our tour calendar of tours through the rest of the year. If you're coming in October, you should book early because that's our busiest month of the season. And you can do tours of the orphanage, the Jenny Wade House. We have a late night combo in the dark. You can do a midnight investigation tour. You can do a haunted bus tour. You can actually rent out both buildings and do your own investigation at 12 o'clock at night to 2, 3, or 4 in the morning, which a lot of people do. So there's a lot of options.
Wow.
And you have
That's awesome.
2 historic buildings with a lot of paranormal activity. People are usually not disappointed with the paranormal, that's for sure.
Wow.
There it is, folks. Guys, have anything else you'd like to add? Phil?
Guess not.
Thank you for being on. It's
My
it's
pleasure.
been very enjoyable having you on. The history and the
I
information you
enjoyed it.
provided, very cool.
And we're
My
definitely
pleasure.
looking
When
forward
you
to
guys
coming
come
back
out here. You get the VIP tour, of course, when you guys come back out. Anytime you want
That means
to
to show us his apartment.
You'll get to see
Show
the
what?
apartment, that's for sure.
That's right.
You'll get to see it. All right.
Phil
Well, thanks
can
for
be
having
the,
me,
judge
folks. I
of the
really
mood.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Go ahead and play us out. What's up?
All right.
Paul?
Thank you.